Wonderful. So, welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to dive into our learning session today. And to introduce our presenter, I'm going to turn the floor over to my colleague and PLT Canada's Manager of Diversity, Accessibility, and Mentorship, Octavio Lara.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this workshop. My name is Octavio Lara. I'm the Manager of Diversity, Accessibility, and Mentorship with the Project Led in Tree Canada and the Sustainable Forestry Initiative. Today, our session, we're going to discuss how we can support Indigenous youth. And of course, you're going to learn what are the skills needed for a career success in the green sector. So before we start the presentation, I just want to mention a few things. As you know, we have live translation for French. Also, if you have any questions, please send us a private chat. And also, at the end of the presentation, we're gonna have 15 minutes for questions and answers. So please put your questions in the chat also. And then, so before we start, now I would like to present our facilitator, which is Geni Peter. She is the labor market information manager at Eco Canada. Geni is responsible for management, executing, and delivering environmental projects, working with professionals that includes staff, consultants, and strategic advisors and subject matter experts. Please welcome Geni. I believe, Geni, do you have access?
Hi, how are you doing? How's everybody doing today? Thumbs
Great.
up. Good, good, great. So let me see. I'm going to see if I can share my screen here so that I can provide you with some information that might be useful to you if you are interested in working in the environmental sector. So to start off with, let me first say that Eco Canada is committed to reconciliation, and we start that commitment by acknowledging the honor and privilege that we have to live and work within the Treaty 7 territory. Eco Canada acknowledges the traditional territories and oral practices of the Niitsitapi, which are the Blackfoot Nations, which includes the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai. We also acknowledge the Tsuut'ina, Aiyana Nakota, the Stoney Nakota, which include the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. In addition, the city of Calgary is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, which is Region 3. Thank you for joining me today. So to start off with, let me talk a little bit about what Eco Canada thinks is an environmental worker. And quite honestly, it's a very broad definition that we have for environmental or green workers. We include individuals who are specifically trained in environmental knowledge, skills, competencies in order to promote environmental protection, prudent natural resource management, and sustainable economic growth. We also include individuals who are supporting businesses who are engaged in providing environmental goods and services, but the individuals themselves don't necessarily have to have environmental specific knowledge, skills, or competencies. So to give you an example, we might include a civil engineer who's acting as an environmental engineer in the oil and gas sector as part of our core environmental workforce, even though he's not or she's not working in for an environmental goods and services company. They're working for a traditional resource company. They're still engaged in environmental work. They're working towards protecting and conserving the environment. On the other hand, we can look at an accountant or an administrative assistant who's working at an environmental goods and services providing company. Again, these individuals have specific skills and talents, not necessarily directly related to environmental protection, but they support the environmental growth of the environmental workforce or environmental workforce and environmental employers. So we consider all of these individuals to be environmental workers from the perspective of Eco Canada, and we include all of those in our research. To talk a little bit about what are the opportunities for working in the environmental sector. The opportunities are looking very good. We estimated that there are about 620,000 workers that we would consider to be environmental workers by either the core environmental workforce or environmental goods and services workers. That's about 1 in 30 across Canada, or it's equivalent to about the total workforce of Manitoba, to give you some perspective. We found through our research that environmental workers are involved in occupations across the board. So some of those occupations are highly technical and require scientific or research backgrounds. Some of them are more public relations type positions. Others are more trades positions. There's a wide range of opportunities available. We expect over the next 10 years that there are going to be about 233,500 job openings for people who are interested in working in the environmental sector. And that's a little bit more than 30 or 40% of the current workforce in Canada. And about half of those jobs are going to be for people who have very specific knowledge, skills, and training in the environmental protection, environmental resource management, and sustainability disciplines. We have observed that environmental work is across the country. So it doesn't matter what region of Canada you're located in, there are environmental job opportunities for you in your region. Some regions have higher population bases, and so we tend to see in those regions generally higher levels of environmental employment that corresponds to that. But if we take a look at the territory Nunavut, for example, we see that the number of environmental workers is relatively small compared to some of the other regions of Canada, but about 41% of the total employment is going to need to be hired over the next 10 years, which means there are greater opportunities for job openings in that particular area than in some other regions.
Jenny, sorry to interrupt you. Do you have the slides on because we cannot see it?
I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay.
Thank you for letting me know. I'm trying to see how can I thought that I had shared my screen. Let me try again. Share. There we go.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Let's continue. The environmental workforce, as I said, has a lot of different types of individuals working in a lot of different types of disciplines. There are some particular occupations where we expect that there are going to be shortages of workers. So it's going to be hard for employers to find the right people for the job over the next 10 years. In particular, life science professionals. That includes individuals who are biologists or biological science technicians, people who are involved in forestry and conservation, people who are involved in geological sciences as well. That's an area where we're expected to see shortages in terms of the workforce. We're also expecting to see shortages among urban planners and land use planners, amongst forestry technologists and technicians, and among conservation and fishery officers, which I think is of interest to individuals here. And then also people who operate facilities, whether it's an industrial facility or people who operate commercial buildings, wastewater treatment facilities, pulp and paper mills. Those sorts of individuals are also going to be in short supply. So there are opportunities in lots of different areas. One thing that's common amongst the occupations that we tend to find as being the most in demand in Canada in the environmental sector is that they tend to require some sort of post-secondary education. We found that about 3/4 of environmental workers have some sort of post-secondary education compared to the overall economy in Canada, where we have about 63% of the environmental workforce, 63% of the total workforce having a post-secondary education. And of course, post-secondary education could include college diplomas and certificates, as well as university degrees. What we do know is that if we don't have people who have the skills and knowledge and competencies to fill the jobs that we have available, we're not going to be able to achieve the goals that Canada has in terms of environmental protection, conservation, and natural resource management. So we are strongly encouraging development of skills by individuals interested in that particular workforce. Just to give you an idea of what sorts of programs are commonly hired from in terms of environmental programs, those who are involved in programs, post-secondary programs in natural resources conservation and research, those in natural resources management and policy, and those in wildlife and wildlands science management tend to be the more highly employable of those coming out of environmental programs. But let's take a step back before we even talk about education and talk a little bit about skills and what employers are looking for from the workers that they are hiring in the environmental space. So what are the top skills that are going to help employers grow their businesses and help individuals thrive in terms of their career in the environmental sector? Well, we did a little bit of research. We went out and we surveyed employers in 2019, and we asked them that basic question. What are you looking for in an employer? What essential skills are required from the employees? What we found is that knowledge levels, technical skills, and soft skills are all equally important. So what do I mean by soft skills, for example? Soft skills include communication skills, writing skills, skills involved in teamwork and collaboration, leadership skills, mentorship skills, those sorts of skills which aren't necessarily there's a right or a wrong answer to it. You're not going to necessarily read it in a textbook, but they are essential for the human interactions that take place in an employment situation. The technical skills, well, again, they could be technical scientific skills for a biologist or a forestry professional. They could be more skills along the lines of creative writing or web design or public speaking for those who are involved in public relations and outreach. So it's a wide variety of different technical skills that are important as well. The key thing that experts found was that technical skills are more likely to get you the job. So having the technical skills is what the employers are looking for at the job interview. But people who have the stronger soft skills are the ones who tend to do more with their career. So success, once you've got the job, often involves developing those soft skills. And unfortunately, one of the findings from our research is that junior employees, those who are just entering the workforce for the first time after graduating from school, they don't have that experience in terms of the teamwork and the leadership and the project management and the communications that employers are looking for. So junior employees often lack these soft skills. Well, this gives you an opportunity to grow your comparative advantage in the workforce, but if you are able to develop some of those skills. For example, um, amongst the employees who are in their first couple of years of employment, the research found that the top soft skills that were required and that employers were looking for were organization and time management. So simply the ability to arrange your schedule in a way to prioritize what needs to be done and to do it efficiently. Teamwork was a second and very important component. 91% of employers said teamwork is an essential soft skill. And that's becoming more and more apparent as the years progress. Communication, and that involves written communication. So writing emails, writing reports based on research or operational findings. It involves being able to speak within a small group, in a meeting, or public speaking opportunities as well. Computer skills, just basic ability to interact with Microsoft Office, with email, with websites and research on internet and that sort of thing are important. And then more specifically amongst communication skills, report writing, the ability to pull information from various different sources together into a cohesive story that you can then present to either your colleagues or to people that your clients or in some cases to your supervisors and managers. Taking a look at some of the technical skills for new employees, what we found is that the environmental employers are really interested in having their employees be knowledgeable in the area of environmental policy and legislation. So being aware of what the local, municipal, federal, and provincial or territorial regulations and legislation is in the particular industry in which you're operating. Industry knowledge is the second most highly valued knowledge area. And that again goes back to the fact that employers want their employees to be able to speak the language of the workforce. And that language is often unique to the specific industry that you're working in. So individuals in forestry are going to speak a different language than individuals working in the mining sector or individuals working in the financial services sector. All of those are different industry knowledge bases that employers would be looking for from the workers that they hire. Overall, we asked employers, what would you tell a job seeker, somebody who's looking for work, what would you tell them is the most important, most critical aspect of success? What's going to land them the job or allow them to succeed? Hard work, dedication, work ethic, perseverance, initiative. So taking responsibility and being that person that the employer can rely on to do the job and do the job well. Ability and skills, experience, education and training, whether they have a professional designation or not, and communication skills. So this group of characteristics focuses more on what have you done to prepare yourself for that particular employment opportunity. Of course, another important aspect of environmental work is environmental drive, passion, desire, positive attitude, willingness to learn. So your attitude towards the work that you're doing is critical to your success. And then on top of that, it's also essential to basically stay up to date. You know, read newspapers and read journal articles and read magazines and read online blogs that are dealing with the particular industry that you're working in, so that you can keep up to date with what's happening in that industry. In fact, that's my biggest recommendation is if you want to be prepared to say, I am ready to join your workforce, the best thing to do is to read, read, read. Read anything that you can find that has to do with the particular industry, the particular occupation, the particular legislation, the particular environmental objective that you're interested in achieving. The more knowledge you have, the better you're going to be able to contribute overall. Now, some things that are available to you as an individual looking to work in the environmental sector are provided by EcoCanada, the organization that I work for. And I just wanted to give you a heads up of some of the opportunities or programs that are available that might be able to assist you in moving into an environmental job when you're interested in doing so. So for example, we have webinars, we have career profiles, which describe what it's like to work in a particular field, what sorts of educational backgrounds you need, what sort of activities you're going to be engaged in. We have forecasts for what's going to happen in terms of environmental employment going forward, what skills employers are looking for. All that sort of information is available for free on EcoCanada's website, www.eco.ca. We also have training opportunities for employers, employees, and Indigenous communities at EcoCanada. One of our most interesting and engaging programs is the BEAR program, the program which brings environmental training to Indigenous communities and combines the traditional knowledge of the community leaders with the scientific or technical knowledge of the environmental field together in a way that helps to train individuals to become junior level employees in the environmental sector. And another program that we have available is we provide wage subsidies to individuals who are either students who are looking for short-term or co-op placements, or young professionals who are looking for full-time jobs for the first time. Those wage subsidy programs basically provide the employer with part of the new worker's salary, which makes it a little bit more attractive to hire somebody who maybe doesn't have experience, give them the opportunity to learn and to grow within that field. And it opens up a number of job opportunities as well to young workers. All of these programs are accessible to you, and we would love to chat with you if you're interested in finding out more information about those programs. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen. And what I would like to do now, if you don't mind, is to open the floor to you to find out what sort of skills you think are going to be needed for the types of jobs that you're going to be looking for, what types of jobs you're interested in to begin with, and how you view the environmental workforce, how you view your potential position in that workforce.
Okay, let's open the floor for questions. Hopefully someone want to raise their hand or maybe type the question in the chat.
Let me start here. Is there anybody here who considers themselves to be an environmental worker? Okay, got some hands up, got some thumbs up. Good, good. So maybe let's talk a little bit about what your experiences are in terms of what's been valuable for you when it comes to getting a job in the environmental sphere, and what's made it more likely that you've had success in your occupation. So who would like to go first?
I can go. Thank you, Jenny, for that presentation. I think that one thing that was helpful for me when I was looking to find employment opportunities that were tied to green jobs was really through my school, using the resources and guidance counselors at my school, at the university, but also previously when I was at college, just kind of taking advantage of all the resources that are available to you that often go untapped, whether it's scholarships or mentorship or just guidance. That was really valuable.
And may I ask, which university program did you take and which university did you attend?
Yeah, absolutely. So the last program I did, which was really valuable for me to find a career in the green sector, was doing a master's in environment sustainability at Western University in London. So that was a 1-year program that had a co-op. That was, really valuable for me. Part of the position that I got afterwards was through that co-op, and that co-op was actually, the opportunity itself was presented to me by the career professor in that program.
Excellent, excellent, thank you. And I saw Rosa, you had your hand up for a moment there. Are you still interested in talking?
Yeah, I was excited because I'm studying the same program, Alex, at Western University, Environment and Sustainability. Yeah, I'm super happy.
Well, that's great. That's good. That's good. Anybody else who would like to share what has been kind of a key element to them finding work as an environmental worker?
I think for me, networking is definitely an essential thing to do. Just because when I was a student, my network isn't wide enough for me to get in touch of people that in the industry. So I often go to networking events that just facilitate myself or generate a conversation that can lead somewhere, and that opportunity leads to another opportunity that eventually got me into the green sector.
Yes, yes, that's one of the other major research findings that we've come across while we've been looking at how to get people into the jobs that they're interested in. Most jobs in Canada are found through word of mouth or by talking to somebody who knows somebody else who can lead you to a particular opportunity that you might not hear about otherwise. So networking is really critical for especially young professionals, but anybody who's in the market for a new job. Tapping into your friends, your relatives, your professors, your teachers, your career counselors, as Alex was saying, anybody who might potentially have an opportunity to introduce you to somebody else who might be able to introduce you to somebody else who might eventually have an opportunity for you. One of the things that I found most successful in terms of my own networking is that when I ask employees or employers what it is that made them successful or what it is that is critical for success in that particular field or in that particular occupation, they often have a lot to say, and they're much more engaged in terms of reaching out and assisting and providing information. So just having curiosity about what it is that they do, what it is that that is key to their success. What are their employers looking for? Gathering that information for yourself may not get you a job with that person, but it may certainly give you a leg up when it comes to knowing what's required going forward. So thank you. Now, Sky, I saw that you had your hand up for a moment.
Yeah, I would say for me, getting into the green jobs, I think it's super valuable to have programs set up for youth, such as FSWEP, the PLT, Green Jobs, and Eco Canada co-ops as well. I think that sometimes having one of these types of programs helps subsidize your wage for employers and makes you a more attractive applicant. And I think ways that these organizations can better support youth would be through additional funding opportunities for workshops, conferences, and skills. I know sometimes these things for me have high prices, which are financial barriers for youth. And I think that in allowing youth to attend more events like these, kind of like Shreya had said, it really allows for networking. Not only are you getting the skills, you're also building your networks.
I think that's an excellent contribution. Yes, absolutely. So many of these skill building opportunities do have a price attached to them, whether you're already employed or whether you're a student who's looking for skills development. So thank you very much for sharing that. I think that that's something I'm going to take back to Eco Canada as a recommendation to us to see if we can provide some programs like that going forward. Yes. Hi, Dean.
Thank you. I don't know if this is a soft skill or not, but certainly when I graduated from college and university, I got thrown into positions of leadership and management right off the bat. I'm a First Nation and a forester, so it wasn't very long after my graduation that I got called from my home community, and they wanted me to get into a forest operations management position. That didn't happen right off the bat, but the job that did come up was to be a program manager with a tribal council in my territory. So, you know, I went from 0 to 60 very quickly. It was a sink or swim situation, and that's just the reality of First Nation youth that are coming out of institutions, whether it's college and university. They don't have the capacity or have that mentorship readily available for someone to take them under the wing. So they get pushed into a situation where, you know, honestly, if they don't make it, you know, it could be a game changer for them, and not in a good way. Fortunate for me, I was able to you know, develop project management skills, work very closely with my my peers, other project manager or program managers. So project management is sort of like a whole blend of skills, you can call it, because you really have to do it all.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'd be interested, Dean, in hearing a little bit of what you think were the characteristics that you have that allowed you to be successful in making that transition so quickly.
I was when I went to school already. I was already 26 years old when I went back to school as a mature student. So I didn't really mess around too much because I spent all that time messing around before going back to school. So I had you know, sort of renewed ambition, dedication, and commitment. I wasn't afraid to ask for help either. So I didn't, if I knew I was getting into trouble, I can go to people and ask for help. So I quickly learned that if I was going to be successful in any of my work, I had to start, building teams on how to do it. And I think that alone, where you don't have competencies, well, you can look to other people to start bringing that skill set in. I'm not a terrific writer, but I could go to people and say, well, ask for a review of things, and certainly they would help. And I'm more of a critical thinker, doing analysis, so those are my strengths. Sometimes they're not the best personality type of qualities, but you know what I mean. But nonetheless, I think building teams is the way to go. Like you could be a leader and everything, but if you can't learn to work with people and their skills and their qualities, you'll find yourself alone.
I think that's wonderful, wonderful advice and insight that you're bringing to the table here. Thank you very much for that.
No problem.
Hi, Geni. I just want to mention that we have 2 more minutes. So if someone wants to ask a question, please feel free to do it now. Also, if you want to do your questions in French, it's okay. We have someone who will support the translation. Okay. Well, it seems like there is no more questions, I think. But I will ask Geni if you can probably send me your presentation so that maybe the youth can have that information for their knowledge. I think that would be great. And thank you very much for for the presentation. It was really insightful, and I think that the youth that participated here will get great opportunities to enhance their skills and get their job that they want.
Growing future forest and conservation leaders.